I am at the church of St Mary Magdalene in the parish of Stoke Canon, just a couple of miles outside of the town of Exeter in Devon. It is believed there has been a church on this site since the Domesday Book was compiled in 1086. Although this church has a Norman tower, so that's about in the 15th century, and the main building is very early Victorian, 1835, 1840. We're just going to have a look at the few memorials in the churchyard. Just inside the gate we have one here to Maria Elizabeth Dyer, who died in 1910. A stone here to William Frederick Tremlett, and the first date on that one is 1870. Elizabeth Smale, difficult to see the date on that one. The war grave here to Private E.F.G. Wootton of the Worcestershire Regiment, 1921, aged 22. You can see here the more modern addition to the church, but even that's 180 years old. Reginald John Ford, 1920. And there are a couple more of these big horizontal slab tombs, but the inscriptions are quite worn, difficult to make out on a first inspection. A very solid lump of granite here to Charles Thomas Ford, who died in 1906, and his wife Margaret. There's a major monument here to Ralph Barnes, his wife and 6 of his children. One here in very good condition, Kate, wife of Charles Halford Thompson, who died the 18th of January 1862, aged just 39. What they've done here is taken the stones and moved them to the side of the graveyard, and so they are still readable. One here to John Dewdney, Betty, the beloved wife of John Crook, and here is Elizabeth Dewdney, daughter of the late John Dewdney of the Stoke Canon Inn, who appears to have died in 1915. James Davy, 1898. A faithful friend, a husband dear, a loving father, sleepeth here. Jane, the beloved wife of William Stadden, 1898. And here that's not quite so easy to make out. And just behind this shrub here is another Dewdney. Here's one to Bessie Kemp, the wife of John Webber of Golf Links Farm. William Horwell Smith and Francis Shannon Smith. One here in a slate type of stone to Daniel Cragg, who died in 1831, aged 55. And then George Cragg, Mary Cragg and Janet Cragg underneath. Others here are quite overgrown, so therefore quite impossible to see the inscriptions. Through a gap in the brambles we can see this is William Charles Meade. This is Private F.H. Perham, Somerset Light Infantry, 1921, aged 22. And you can see at the bottom there where his family have added a religious text, "He giveth his beloved sleep." One tucked here against the building. Edward Hawes Shearm, our Royal Navy. A big slab tomb here, and the surname is Ellicombe. This is pioneer J.E. Smith of the Royal Engineers, 1918, age 47. And the family have added at the bottom, "Sleep on, beloved, sleep, take rest, in loving memory." There are a few more here in the undergrowth, but it's quite impossible to reach them because of the nettles and brambles. There are others here you can just make out through the undergrowth. The middle one has the name Whitelock, but quite impossible to reach. And coming back to where we started, there's two set here in the grass. Inscriptions are difficult to read. This one here is broken, but what you can see, it says Angel Merivale. There are three large slab tombs here near the tower. The inscriptions on top. The first one is Mary Worthy. This one here is John Dewdney Worthy of the city of Exeter, age 43. And Mr. James Worthy, his brother. And the third one does have an inscription, but it's too difficult to make out. Just a few yards further down the road is a small area which is the extension graveyard of the church. So we're going to just have a look inside here. Just inside the gate is a small area with a number of fairly modern memorials. Some at the back here are fairly overgrown. This one in here is in fact completely covered with ivy. One here to Frederick John Smith dates from 1920. He was just aged 18 years. Another one completely covered, and you wonder what secrets there might be underneath all this ivy. One here with a very large cross on it, and the inscription at the bottom could be Thompson. One here to Sarah Jane Kensall, 1930, and also underneath William Edmund Kensall. Over here in the corner on the road are some Commonwealth War Graves. The first three here are all for the same date, the 5th of July 1941, and this was an accident where a truck full of Home Guard people had a serious accident, and a number died. So here is George Ross, aged 34 years. Next is R.D. Smale, 3rd Devon Battalion of the Home Guard. And over here is James Mackay, accidentally killed 5th of July 41, aged 34. And then his wife and daughter. This is Gunner C.J. Stadden of the Royal Artillery, who died in 1944, aged 32. And I'll leave you with this shot of this extension cemetery to St Mary Magdalene in Stoke Canon. A quiet little plot. You wouldn't even notice as you drive along the road. Little peaceful spot in the village, probably known only really to the villagers here. And see you next time.